Shalom, my brothers. Assalamu alaikum, my friends. The more attentive of my audience will notice that I've just opened this video using both Muslim and Jewish style greetings. This was done intentionally as a way of bringing both sides of this terrible conflict together. Yes, that's right. From thousands of miles away, with absolutely no investment in this conflict, knowledge of the history, or concern for what happens, I, like Kylie Jenner, Jack Black, and Justin Bieber before me, am prepared to let bygones be bygones. Thank you, yes. This will be Benjamin Netanyahu now, I imagine, informing me of a peaceful resolution after my courageous stand. Benji! No problem at all, buddy. Happy to help. Oh, Jordan Peterson's tweeted something. What did he say? Something normal, I imagine. Yeah, I'm looking it up now. No! By now, you'll have seen the pictures of the death and destruction. Benjamin Netanyahu has indeed given Gaza hell. I'm gonna make a brave admission here, guys. I'm gonna risk my reputation and my audience by saying I think it was wrong for Jordan Peterson to encourage Israel to inflict hell on Palestinians. The first problem with the tweet was that Jordan did not say exactly who he wanted to be on the receiving end of the aforementioned hell. Instead of specifying, for example, Muslim terrorist extremists, or, for example, civilian pregnant women, Jordan instead went for the catch-all term, Even worse, Jordan did not specify what he meant by hell. For some, hell could be taking a piss at a staff party and your drunk boss ignores urinal etiquette by using the one right next to you. For others, hell could be having to rescue your dead infant from a mountain of rubble. The cruel irony is that Jordan has neglected the 10th rule in his book 12 Rules for Life, which is to be precise in your speech. This lapse of judgment could damage his brand, which could in turn damage book sales, which would, of course, be the real tragedy in all of this. As for the Palestinians, it seems Benjamin Netanyahu has settled on a version of hell a little more drastic than, say, making all Hamas terrorists attend 10-year reunions at the high schools at which they were badly bullied, for example. The second reason why this tweet was inappropriate is that Jordan Peterson isn't a tough guy. He's not a John McClane. He's not a Michael Corleone. He's not a Rambo. Jordan is a nerd.
You got 100 on that quiz, didn't you?
Just a lot of lucky guesses.
Jordan, whether we like it or not, is at his most comfortable, being crammed into a locker, or having his head shoved into a toilet, or, being on the wrong end of a mega wedgie. What ends up happening when we subvert the natural order by giving guys like Peterson global fame is that he becomes so dizzy from the ascent. One minute he's crying for no reason, and the next he's giving unsolicited advice to world leaders on what drastic military action they should take in response to terrorist attacks. It's crazy. The third reason is that I'm not entirely sure Jordan Peterson is connected with the reality of war. And I'm basing this assumption on the fact that 4 days after his worst ever tweet, he posted another tweet where he was looking for recommendations for good beef jerky. Call me hysterical, but that has the same kind of sinister casualness as that scene from Inglourious Bastards where the evil guy negotiates the fate of the Jews beneath the floorboards as he drinks milk and smokes on his pipe. And before you think I'm comparing him to a Nazi, I'm not. I do suspect, however, that Jordan Peterson gets equally pissed off with seeing Israelis being massacred, as he does with seeing a big fat girl on the front cover of a magazine, as he does with being asked his gender pronouns in a university lecture hall. And yes, although admittedly all those things are a bit annoying, I do think they do and should vary vastly in degrees of magnitude. The fourth reason is that Jordan is already in hot water over his tweets. He is currently being forced to attend a compulsory re-education camp under threat of losing his psychology license because of his attitudes towards fat women and trans people. Perhaps he incorrectly assumed that by aligning himself with Israel he could appease the world of left-wing academia, because of course Israeli Jews are far more liberal and tolerant when it comes to these cultural issues than Palestinian Muslims traditionally would be. What he failed fool to anticipate in that case is that left-wing academics are so famously brainless, so totally morally vapid, that they have sided with Palestinians simply because Palestinians have darker skin. You would think it obvious that a far safer way to please his peers would have been to, you know, put his pronouns in his bio, or to quit his all-meat diet, or, you know, to develop a lisp perhaps, or something like that. So anyway guys, those are my brief thoughts on what I feel is Jordan Peterson's worst ever tweet. As I'm sure is obvious, I know absolutely nothing about the Israel-Palestine conflict. I thought until literally yesterday that the Iron Dome, which is Israel's defense technology, was quite literally a snow globe style glass roof over the entirety of the country, similar to the sky you see in the movie The Truman Show. However, as with everything from the Ukraine war to COVID to the dreaded black square, it is my God-given duty as an online creator to make these human tragedies as much about myself as I possibly can. It is upon this sacred principle of detached self-involvement that I make this video, or that Justin Bieber posts support for Israel while using a photo which depicts the destruction in Gaza, or indeed why Jordan Peterson encourages Israel to inflict hell on Palestinians. The obvious truth is that we don't really care. We don't have jobs. We need something to do. And there's not too many better options for rabid dopamine junkies looking for their next emotional spike than reading and regurgitating the putrid bilious musings of the world's worst people on social media. That's the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I would ask you to like and subscribe, but of course, in the context, that would be inappropriate. With all that's going on in the world, me asking you to like and subscribe would come across as cold, as unempathetic, and as downright narcissistic. If you do want to reward my hard work on this video, you can do so. Of course, it's more than welcome. I won't say how. I'll leave that up to you, but you know, you can figure out a way. Like it,